Ran from a dollar, catch a slow eye. What? Nego. No boyfriend, 4 to the project. Lying young and street, made the pussy, bring the black back. Standing in the kitchen, whipping nigga, catch a contact. Shot a foot around the middle, deploy. Ran from a dollar, catch a slow eye. Love my pistol, dog, and fit just like a glove. I ain't come up out the truck, that no fool me was selling drugs. Dope boyfriend, just like Juice Jane 3-6. Lying young and screens, I been turned up with the demons. Trapper gave a son to believe in. I been on my grind, them hating niggas hate to see them. Shout to say she falling for a trapper. Try to rob and on my dog and get a crap.
This live stream may contain content that could be perceived as shocking or offensive, but it is presented solely for educational purposes. Viewer discretion is advised. We strive to adhere to community guidelines, and any potentially sensitive material is shared with the intent of fostering understanding and learning.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. I want to welcome you guys to the live stream today. We're going to be talking about the top 5 things to do when the police arrive as a security guard. Before we go any further, guys, I have a very special thank you. I have spent the last, I'm going to say, over 3 years. I don't want it to ever be said that I have a issue with the Portland Police Bureau. I don't. My greatest mentor, the person that I look up to and revere in the highest regard, is a former Portland Police Bureau officer. 2 other people that I'm associated with, that I work with and do some work for, they are former Portland Police Bureau police officers. I respect the hell out of what those men and women do. I understand, after living here for almost 4 years, what they're up against. They are in a bad position. I say all that to say this. I have to shout out a very special police officer. He will never see my videos. Okay. He will probably never, see any of this, but I want to say a very special thank you to Officer Damian Dale of the Portland Police Bureau. Officer Damian Dale has worked in the area that I primarily work in. Over the past 3 years, he has been in that area. He has been one of the, I'm going to be honest, he's been one of the few officers to take any of the calls that come for assistance in terms of us needing him or needing police assistance at the location that I work. He has always treated me as an equal. He's always treated me with the utmost respect. And there was a time when I used to live very, very close to the location where I currently work, and my wife was involved in a situation, and he responded extremely quickly. I say all of that to say this. Yesterday, I had another situation, another issue where we had to reach out to the Portland Police Bureau. Officer Dale responded, and that led to me making this video. But, for everything that I have experienced, everything that I've seen, everything that I have ever complained about, any issues that I have ever had, Officer Dale has been an absolute, just phenomenal example of a police officer, and he deserves to be shouted out. He deserves to be publicly acknowledged for his professionalism. He has absolutely always given 110% on any call that he's responded to that I have been a part of, and I just cannot thank him for his professionalism enough. And honestly, guys, it's well overdue, because again, a situation that my wife was involved in a couple of years ago, he responded to that. He kept in contact with her, and exemplary example of a police officer. So with that being said, today we're going to talk about top 5 things to do when police arrive as security guards. Now, okay, let's get into some tough situations here, right? So when the police arrive, all right, and some of you guys are in different areas, your police response time is a little bit different than maybe, some of the cities like Portland where I work in. Maybe it's a little bit slower. But one of the things that I often see is security guards that are, let's say the words together, doing too much, right? A lot of times security guards can do too much when the police actually do arrive. We complain all the time. Hey, when I call for the cops, they don't show up. Hey, when I need the cops' assistance, they're slow to get there. Okay, when they do get there, how are you behaving? And guys, there is a protocol on how you should be behaving when it comes to interacting with the police department. We are not cops. So we should not be behaving as cops. We should not be in the way. We should not be trying to interject. And again, I say all this because Officer Damian Dell responded to a situation. Let me give you guys the backstory, right? So we had a guy inside the store. He's being belligerent. Same thing as always, right? Inside the store, being belligerent, out of line. Hey, it's time for you to go. And then, it's the weekend of Christmas. The store is packed, right? So what do people who are homeless, who are, falling on hard times, you got to think about it from their perspective. Let's talk psychology here. This is a really important piece of information I'm going to give you guys. Okay. Forget the cop issue for a second. Side note, this is a very important piece of information. When you're dealing with people who are homeless, especially around the Christmas holidays, imagine what they're going through. Okay. They're on the street in Oregon, guys. It's raining. It's cold, right? They're on the street. It's the Christmas holiday time. Like everybody in the store, they're smiling. People are buying wine. They're getting pies. Everybody's got their family around them. You're seeing Christmas lights. There's music playing. And then there you are. You're homeless. You're cold. You're wet. You're hungry. You don't know what your family is going through. You don't know what's going on with your family. You haven't talked to them in years. Your wife left you. Your girlfriend left you. Everything that you've ever had, it's gone. And you're on the fucking street. Right? I think a lot of times as security guards, yes, we have to deal with the issue. And at the end of the day, whatever they're doing, we're going to address what they're doing. But if you have a little compassion, if you have a little bit of understanding about what these people are dealing with in this time, right now, this holiday season, it makes sense why they act the way they do. So this guy, he's doing all the things that people do. They get them kicked out of a store, get them trespassed, right? And he gets to the edge of the door. How many of you guys have put a thumbs up or like a 1 in the comments if you've dealt with this? The guy's being a jerk. We get him out of the store and he gets right to the edge of the door and he's like, I'm just going to post up here now. He's going to be a child, right? He's going to act like a fucking kid. He's going to post up. He's going to stand right by the door. Now, every single customer that's trying to leave, they've got their kids with them. They've got their husband with them, their wife with them. All the happy people, they now have to get around this guy. And he's telling them, that they're this, they're that. He's being a jerk because he wants to disrupt for a moment, a brief moment. He wants people to feel what he's feeling, right? That's the psychology behind why these people act the way that they act. So he's standing right by the door. He's smoking a cigarette right next to all the propane. He's cussing out the customers. He's in the way. People are like having to try to jostle around him. And we're like, dude, look, I come over and I'm trying to be me, right? I'm trying to de-escalate situations. I come over, hey, sir, excuse me. Hey, I care about your situation. Like I'm doing all the 21st century policing shit, right? I'm like, hey, sorry about what you're going through. I can empathize. What can I do for you? And he's like, fuck. Hang on. I didn't mean to hit that. He's like, fuck you, motherfucker. Fuck you. I ain't going anywhere, right? So we're like, all right. It gets to the point where we try and talk this guy off the ledge and he ain't moving, right? He's like, fucking call the cops. I'm not going anywhere. And he says the same thing that 90% of the homeless community says in Portland because they've been trained to say this, right? Because our glorious, illustrious DA has taught them that he's not going to prosecute. They say, call the cops. Call them. They ain't coming. They ain't coming. I'll stand here all day. They ain't coming. Well, Yes and no, because we have access to a couple of cops that we know personally, right? So it just so happens that the loss prevention manager is on that day and he's got a direct line to a certain officer that's working. He calls him, hey, this is what's going on. And that officer's like, hey, look, I'm not on today, but Damian Dale is. Let me call Damian Dale. And within 5 minutes, Officer Dale shows up, right? Officer Dale shows up. Boom. There he is. Pulls up. This guy's like posted up like a child. He's got his arms crossed. He's defiant. He's not going anywhere. And then Dale rolls up and he gets out. And the guy's like, oh, I was just leaving. And Dale's like, no. Stay where you are. Let me have a chat with you. So this interaction between this person and Officer Dill, it got me thinking, because how did I handle that situation? I have a very specific set of 5 things that I do. And I've tried to tell other officers, hey, this is my 5-step process. I think it's good for us to do as security guards, but it's just my suggestion. And so I'm going to share that with you guys. Before we do that, let me get a quick comment in here. Henry Ross says the Los Angeles area LAPD give you leeway when you have to go with a full court full, no touching to get the individual out of the shot because of the slow police response. That's awesome. I don't really hear a lot of positive things about the Los Angeles Police Department. They have a very, negative history. But that's good to hear that they're working with security, especially in the retail sector, because, man, like the retail sector over the last 5 years has just gotten absolutely, they've had a train run on them, right? They've had an absolute train run on them. They can't get any sort of response. And then from the legislative side, the government side, like a lot of people in that district attorney position, they don't want to prosecute. So it enables people to come in and do this kind of stuff. So it's great to hear that the LAPD is working with security and giving you guys a little bit of leeway. That's awesome. So let me get into my top 5 things. All right. So number 1, when the cops show up, cops are there, they're on the scene. You've had whatever issue, whether it's a hands-on, whether it's a trespass, whether it's a disorderly, whether it's, vandalism, drugs on property, whatever it is. Once the cop shows up and they start walking towards you, this is my biggest pet peeve. Inform the officer of the situation in plain motherfucking English. Just simply learn how to communicate effectively with law enforcement by providing clear and concise information about the situation at hand. What does that mean? You are not a police officer. You're a security guard. You're a security officer. When the police officer walks up, don't start giving codes. Hey, we got a 319, we got a 2432, we got a 615 in progress. Stop that shit. Don't do that. In plain English, how's it going, Officer so-and-so? Hey, look, this guy over here, belligerent inside the store. We asked him to leave. It took us 15 minutes to get him out of the store. He's screaming, yelling, kicking over items. He gets outside of the store, crosses his arms, refuses to move out of the threshold. That's the guy right there. That's it. It's not your job to have a 10 code conversation. It's not your job to share with the officer how knowledgeable you are of the infractions. You don't have to start giving him any sort of directives on what this person should be charged with. Just in plain English, what happened? It's the officer's job from that point forward to decide what the charges should be, if that person should be detained, if that person should be arrested, whatever it is. You've done your job. You've gotten him out of the store. You've gotten him out to the sidewalk. You've contacted the police department. The police are on the scene. Guess what? Your job is done for the most part. You've done it. You've done a great job. You've mitigated the situation that could have gone south, that could have led to anything and everything, from a hands-on incident to you potentially having to the person, right? All that's been alleviated. It's been avoided. Bravo. Officer, you did a great job. Pass them off to the police officer. Don't overdo it. Very simple, clear, concise information. The second thing, ask if they need your assistance. Just understand the importance of offering assistance to the police officer while respecting their authority and role. You've given them clear, concise information. This is what he did. This is where he was. This is how long it took to get him out. He refuses to leave. He's right in front of the threshold. Is there anything that I can do to help? Now, 9 times out of 10, what they're going to tell you is, no, we're good. Some situations, apparently, specifically here in Portland, like when things were really bad. Hey, yeah, do me a favor, man. Just can you watch my back? I don't have a partner coming right now. It's just me. Can you just kind of watch the street, make sure nobody rolls up on me? Yeah, absolutely. Hey, can you keep people back while I'm dealing with this guy? Hey, can you go and get video footage or start getting footage pulled up from loss prevention so that I can get that before I leave? Hey, can you get the number of the store manager? Can you get the store manager? If there's anything that the police need, they will have you help. They will direct you and tell you what it is that they need, right? But what you don't want to do is start taking the initiative to start doing things. Hey, everybody back up. Hey, you over here. Hey, you guys. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Just stay within your scope of your work. Stay within your role. Ask the police officer. If they tell you, no, we're good, you can back off completely and allow him to do his job. Give them space, which rolls into number 3, which is move back. One of the things that I see security guards do way too often is once we've passed the person off to the police department, once we have transferred that scene or that individual over to that person, the security guards, hands right in the chest of the vest, and they're right up next to the police officer. The police officer is conducting his investigation. He's having a conversation with the subject, and the security guard is right there, hands inside the vest, shoulder to shoulder with the cop. Bro, take a deep breath, back up. Once the police officer has taken over, back away. If he has not given you a directive to either, watch his back or control the crowd or do any of that kind of stuff, just back up. Give him plenty of room to work, plenty of room to investigate the situation. That is not the time when he's doing his investigation to chirp in or chime in and give your opinion. He's asking questions and the subject is talking, and then you're going, no, that's not what he said. He did that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And you're going to be tempted to do that because that person is the subject is going to be doing anything and everything that he can to stay out of trouble. And he's going to tell the police officer everything that he can to not get in a situation where he's getting those bracelets put on him. That's not your job. Everything, for the most part, if you're working in a retail setting, if you're working in any sort of public space at this point, everything is being recorded, right? Let him go ahead and tell the police officer whatever he's going to tell him. If he lies to the police officer, more than likely he's going to end up with some issue with obstruction. You're going to turn over the loss prevention tape. You're going to turn over whatever evidence you have. At that point, it's not on you. You have done your job. Back up, give the officer some space, and allow him to conduct his investigation in peace. The next thing after that is provide any information that they need. Once the subject has been detained or the subject has been released or they've put the subject into the squad car, after everything is done, I go over to the officer. I say, hey, is there anything that you need? Generally, they're going to want my DPSST number. They're going to want my name. They're going to want a phone number that they can contact me at. Sometimes they'll ask for the hours or the days that I'm potentially going to be working. All of this so that when they write their report, if they have to get in touch with me, they can. They might ask for your address. If you were in a situation, I had a lady that pulled a knife on me back in October. They wanted my address because I'm the victim in that situation. The district attorney is going to send out information for me to go ahead and press charges if that's the decision that I make. Whatever information they need, just give it to them. If they need a copy of your license or your card or whatever, let them have that information so that they can fill out their report and they can move forward accordingly. The last thing that I always do is ask for the responding officer's card with the case number attached to it. So as for a card and case number, learn the significance of obtaining relevant details from the responding officers for documentation and follow-up procedures. Why am I doing that? For my report. Remember, there's going to be a report that the police officer, the responding police officers are going to make for their benefit, for the prosecution of that subject, but you also will have a report as well. You want to make sure that you're getting the responding officer's card that has their information, their email, a phone number where they can be contacted. And as well with all of that, you want to make sure that you're getting the case number. I always take a picture of the front of the card that has all of the officer's information. I take a picture of the back of the card where the case number is, and I attach all of that to my report when I send that into my office. That way, if my company needs to follow up with anything, if there's any sort of issues of, use of force or anything and everything that would come from the situation, when my company refers to that report, or if I have to refer to that report, I have all that information. I would say to you guys, get a second phone that you use for work. I cannot tell you how many times I have had a supervisor or someone from the district attorney's office contact me many, many months down the road and say, hey, do you have any information on this specific situation? I go into my phone, I pull up all of my saved police reports, all of my saved reports that I've personally written, and I'm able to go, yep, happened on this date. This is the situation. This was the responding number. This is the case number. I have all of that from my records. I caution you guys keeping any of that information on your regular phone, because if any of that stuff is subpoenaed and they have to take your phone, you don't want them to take your regular phone. Get yourself a work phone, a very cheap phone, and you can keep all of the records of your reports that you write, any police numbers or case numbers that you have, you can keep those. So those are the 5 things that I do. Let's go over these one more time. Inform the officer in plain English. Ask if they need any assistance, and then follow their directives. Move back, get out of the way. Do not stand right next to the police officer. Do not crowd the police officer. Do not interject when they're talking to the subject. Allow them to conduct their interview and give them lots of space, right? Provide any information on yourself as an officer. If you have a badge number, if you have a state agent number, whatever it is that you guys do in your jurisdiction, provide that information along with your name, your address, phone number, anything and everything that they need so that they can proceed. And then lastly, ask for the responding officer's card. Remember, the responding officer. If there are secondary officers that are there, they might not be involved. You might have officers that are training. You might have officers that are assisting from different jurisdictions. Make sure you're getting the responding lead officer's card with their information and the case number so that you can attach all of that to your report. So I want to open this up to questions. Does anyone have any questions before we get off of this stream? Those are my 5 tips for what to do when the police officers respond. And again, if any of you guys have any thoughts, any comments that you want to share before we get off the stream, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute, as we always do. We will play the theme song to this show. You can put your comments in the comment section. I will post them. I will answer them. If we do not get anything after the end of this song, we will end the stream. Here we go.
Well, I got money in the bank, gold in the safe, 30 in the clear, I got my over my waist, done the whole shit, I can let it go to waste, hold up. Well, I got money in the bank, gold in the safe, 30 in the clear, I got my over my waist, done the whole shit, I can let it go to waste, hold up. Well, I got money in the bank, gun on my waist, 30 on the clear, I got 1 in the face, grab a nigga quick, how I get it out the field, when I ride a voice, shit just do this, nigga free, hold up. Then I gotta go. When I jump in that pussy, I like Geronimo. Boy, I'm a killer, don't push me, I get the domino.
Okay, guys. So we had one question. Let's see here. Any tips on ego battles on the job? So ego battles. This is probably the topic that I talk about the most. Ego battles are the absolute biggest problem in the security industry. It's the biggest problem in terms of the companies not allowing security guards to advance. It's the biggest issue in terms of partners not working well together. It is the biggest number one issue with guards going over and above, going hands on. It's the biggest issue that leads to shootings. Guys, I could go on and on and on and on and on about motherfucking ego battles. It is the biggest problem in private security, the biggest problem, because we spend our entire day getting disrespected, right? A lot of you, let's be real, a lot of you get disrespected by your wives. You get disrespected by your girlfriends. You get disrespected by your family because you work in security. Who can you tell that you work as a private security guard where you get an ounce of respect? I live in Portland. Portland is probably the sex work capital of the country. I would say it's Portland and it's Vegas, right? You cannot shame people in Portland who work in the sex work industry. If someone works in the sex work industry, servicing a 24-hour glory hole, you have to approach that as if they are doing the Lord's work. If you were to talk down to them, if you were to chastise them, if you were to shame them, if you were to say anything negative about what they're doing, that would not fly in Portland. However, you can talk down to, mistreat, spit on, say horrible things to security guards every single day, and no one will bat an eyelash. They won't. And you're already talking about people that are working in industry that has a very low barrier of entry as it is. So when we're talking about the people who are subjected to this mistreatment on a daily basis, guys, daily basis, at home, on their way to work, you stop and get gas and people are laughing at you, calling you, Craig or Day-Day, top flight security. It's hard. So I get it, why people snap, which is why I have this channel, which is why I come on here and try and tell you guys what a great thing it is that you're doing, what a great service that you're providing, that you should be proud of who you are. You should be proud of what you're doing, proud of the job that you're working. That's why I try so hard to lift up this community, because short of that and us changing the dynamic around security, the ego battle's not going anywhere. And that is the biggest problem. How do you avoid the ego battle? Growth, maturity, understanding that you're worth something, understanding that you do matter, that your job is important. But that's hard. That takes a lot of self-awareness. That takes a lot of humility. That takes a lot of wisdom. And I'm doing my part to try and help you guys with that, because I don't see that. I don't see that when I'm talking to guys, these 20-year-old guys, these 30-year-old guys my age, when they're working security, a lot of those guys are broken. They're broken. That's why you have secondary threat. That's why you have guys who are in the security industry who are grade A class 100 trolls. They're projecting. They're in pain. They don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good about what they're doing. They're probably not making enough money to make ends meet. Their wives, their girlfriends, if they have wives or girlfriends, right? They probably don't respect them. The people in their community don't respect them, so they lash out. short of any understanding that you matter and that what you do actually does have a place in society, you're going to have ego problems that are going to lead to issues. I'm going off on a rant and a tangent here, but I fucking believe in this shit with my heart 100% that this is the biggest problem in our industry right now. And I am so shocked that more people don't snap and lash out. So you have got to understand who you are. You have to find something about what you're doing to give it value. You have to believe that the most mundane job that you have, that it actually does matter. You have to find something to latch onto, guys. Otherwise, you will end up in a bad way. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, wait. He says you're on a roll live streaming. Yeah, I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to get this stuff in before the end of the year. He says notepad, offer any detailed reports. Okay, that's back to the police situation. Edgar says, how do you remain calm in high stress situations? Great question. Oh my God. I made a video on that. My top three ways to remain calm in high situations. Number one is to, when you're at work and you have the downtime, right? So if you're working an 8-hour shift, when it's quiet, when it's slow, when nothing's happening, look around and start thinking about what situations are likely to happen. You're working at a bank. What is the main thing that more than likely, if it's going to happen, is going to happen at a bank? It's a robbery, right? So start looking. Where would they come from? They would come from that door. Okay, where am I positioned? If they came in and they were going to rob the bank with a firearm, how would I respond? If they came in, they were going to rob the bank with a knife or a crowbar, what would I do? Start scenario planning, right? The first thing is to think about all of the things that can happen in your downtime well before they happen. Number two, train. When you're not at work, get to the gun range. If you're not working as an armed guard, get to a jiu-jitsu class or a judo class or a Krav Maga class or a wrestling class. Train. If you can't get to a self-defense class, get to the gym. Start putting weight up. Don't go to the gym to try and establish beach muscles. Go to the gym to increase your strength. Why? Because if you're not working as an armed guard, and God forbid you have to protect your life with only your ability to manhandle another person, that is so important. Get in the gym and start putting up weight, right? The last thing and the most important thing in terms of remaining calm in stressful situations is you have to accept with absolute uncertainty, 100% knowledge that whatever is going to happen is going to happen and you can't stop it. That you cannot, under any circumstances, keep the bad thing from happening. And once you've accepted that, and you've accepted that whatever's going to come through that door is going to come through that door, and I'm going to deal with it no matter what, you will find that you can handle 99.9% of those situations. If you're thinking about them beforehand, if you're training in some way, and if you have a level of acceptance, those are the three things that I tell people all the time that will help you lower your stress level in terms of dealing with tough and aggressive situations. Okay, let's see what we got here. Henry says, the problem is that guards don't know how to pressure individuals to the front door of the shop and don't know how to take yelling and controlling the situation without touching the individual. That's true. I think that the big issue with that is that the only examples that we have of private security, if you look online, if you look on YouTube and you type in private security, right? What do you see? You see people flipping the fuck out, right? You see people going crazy. You see people on First Amendment audits, like yelling, screaming, running up on people. There's very little positive examples of security guards or security officers, right? Which is another reason why I started this channel. So, there's no training that's really offered to security guards in terms of how to de-escalate and deal with these situations. So you're expecting people who are being disrespected all the time, who are being called out of their name all the time, who are getting in these ego battles to then be able to know how to de-escalate a situation without going hands-on. Your reaction when you see red is to go hands-on. I had a guy at work yesterday. I won't say who he is, but he is an employee. Great guy, calm, even keel. And this chick spit on it. And he saw red. Like some of you guys know when I say like you are witnessing someone see red, this guy saw red. Like everything about his career and what he's put into like trying to advance, like all that shit went out the window. And he was going after this chick. And I had to get in between he and her. But like short of me being there to get in between them and stop him, he would have done something. Okay. And that's most security guards because there's no example of how to handle situations other than that. Okay. The art of combat says the answer is stoicism. That's why I'm involved in the martial arts and now involved in security. I love stoicism. Is it stoicism or is that how you say it? Stoicism or stoicism? It's like Jocko Willink, right? Jocko is like always very stoic in his answers. This is what you do. You get into jujitsu. Once you've gotten into jujitsu, life will all fall into place, right? Westwell says your work upholds your client's right to do business. Yes, I agree with that. Adam Perrell says I've been in the field 21 years and couldn't agree more. I appreciate that. Edgar Ortiz, you're awesome. That last tip was gold. I don't know which tip that was, but I'll take it. Adam says every situation and environment brings new challenges. For example, bar and nightclub. Man, I worked security in a college bar at Penn State University from 2010 to 2012. And that was crazy. You could not get me to work in a bar or a nightclub again for any amount of money. I wouldn't do it. That was crazy. A college nightclub at Penn State, like where drinking is a varsity sport with 90% of our students coming from New Jersey or New York during the Jersey Shore era. So like, you know, drinking and partying and having like toxic relationships, male to female toxic relationships, and the guys all trying to be like Ronnie or The Situation or Pauly D, like that was the era, right? So the same way that the people on Jersey Shore would act, where they would get drunk and start fighting with each other and having these like really toxic male-female arguments in the nightclub or outside the nightclub, that was a nightly occurrence at the bar. And so at the time, I'm like 33, 34, right? And I'm trying to break up a fight with some guy that plays football for Penn State from Jersey. Like, fuck that. Get the shit kicked out of me. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Jack Spade Productions, How to Talk Like a Cop, Charisma Matrix on the YouTube. He gives good advice on body language and verbal judo. It's worth a watch for anyone interested. Face red, heart shape. Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. And Samuel says, I love low-income housing and hotels. Man, yeah, I have a video, top 5 places to avoid. It's strip clubs, low-income housing, rodeos, strip clubs, low-income housing, rodeos. What was the other one? After parties, like hip-hop after parties. What was the 5th one? Hip-hop after parties, strip clubs, rodeos, Section 8. Does anybody know what the other one was? I can't remember. Oh, man, it's my video. I can't remember. That's 4. Strip clubs, Section 8, hip-hop nightclubs, rodeos, and there's one more. Man, oh, my God, I cannot remember that last one. Fuck. What was it? Low-income housing, strip clubs, rodeos. Ooh, man, that's going to bug the crap out of me. If anybody knows, man, drop it in the hospitals. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so the 2024 updated version would definitely include hospitals. Unarmed gig at a hospital. No bueno, not doing it. Political rallies, it might have been political rallies. Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember, man. I have to look at my own video. I can't remember. Yeah, it might have been. It wasn't hospitals. It wasn't. Okay, wait. We're gonna figure this out. Hang on. Let me do this. Top 5 security jobs not take. I gotta look up my own damn video. Okay, whoop, there it is. Off the spectrum. All right, so hang on. It is strip clubs, hip hop after parties, strip club, hip hop after parties, rodeos, riots, housing projects. There was rodeos and riots, political riots. Did somebody say that? Yeah, dude. Jack Spade, political rallies. You were right. Oh man, that is so cool. Yes. That's dope. Yeah. Avoid political rallies. I worked the Antifa riots back in 2020, and like it was crazy, and like they were doing wild shit for all of 2020, and then we got to 2021 and it got bad. Like that's when the Proud Boys and Patriot Prayer and the right wing groups, the Blue Lives Matter groups started coming down, and that's when a guy got shot. We had somebody that got shot on the street like during one of the last rallies. Like things got hot like going into 2021. Like that was crazy. So yeah, definitely avoid that one. I could not remember that. So anyway, guys, look, that is the end of my 5 things to do in terms of working when the police show up. Most importantly, man, just plain English, ask if they need your help, back up, do what they ask of you, give them the information, get their information, get a card, get a case number, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. I might come on and do one more stream later tonight. I want to do a video breakdown for you guys, and then I'm going to take tomorrow off. But yo, this content machine, it don't stop, homie. It don't stop. 10x. My goal is to produce the most security guard centered content in 2024. I think I have like close to 750 videos. I want to have 1,750 videos by this time next year. No stopping me. Okay. We are only getting started. All right, guys. Y'all have a great one. I'll see you on the next one.
Well, I got money in the bank.